How are you, mate? Yeah, fun.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Oh, you know, better than that. Close. Yeah, James Simmons. Yeah. Well, I'm originally I'm self-started. In Tassie? Yes, he was. He beat me 3 years in a row. 6-5, 6-4, 6-5. I haven't played for 30 years. I've just started playing. Not very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes to start. I go with the wife. Yeah. Thank you.
So when are you going to visit us again?
Hey?
I think when are you going to come and see us?
Yeah, Adelaide, I don't know. There's no tournament schedule, is there?
You can come and visit.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring inside in there.
Thank you.
We'll look after you.
Yeah, I know that.
Don't worry about that.
Could I also ask people who watch the matches to be careful when taking photographs and not to be taken them while players are doing their shot? And also, if anybody's leaving the seats, can they wait until the player is out of the way and not in the middle of his game? Everyone ready? Start.
Gilchrist, 8. Seven.
Good afternoon, viewers. Second session of day one of the World Billiards Championship. Matt Bolton here in commentary. And great match for the first day. Peter Gilchrist, world number 1, and Shrikrishna Suri, great young player from India, only 19 years of age. Probably the top 2 players in the round robin group, so important match for both of them on day one. And Peter at the table here with a good early chance.
11.
Just trying to work out how he can manoeuvre the balls to the top of the table. We'll play the in off the yellow here and try and get in the drop cannon position at some stage. Awesome camera angles here from Dan. We've got multiple cameras set up so you can get really up close and personal and see the spin and side the players are using with certain shots. Hour and a half matches in the round robin stages. Down on the match table here they're playing. The conditions here are sensational. Playing on the new straw and superfine cloth. So extremely reactive. Just sneaking that one in. Catching the front draw, but the slide of the cloth, the new cloth on the tables, helps take the ball in the pocket a little bit easier. They may tighten up a bit after a few days. Good result there for Peter. Would have been trying to avoid the pocket there on the in-off and bring the red back over the middle, then drop it back down. But it went in, so it's all good. And now he's got a chance to get the balls up to the top of the table area. Ooh. A little bit of trouble now. He's got a bad result there. He's smothered himself. But he's got all the shots, Mr. Gilchrist, so may have a fine in off, may have an in off the red to keep going. You can see there the side that he used helped take the ball in the pocket. Good shot. Been struggling with a bit of the flu, Peter Gilchrist, at the start of this event, so hasn't been feeling the best. I think he's on the mend at the moment, so one of the favourites for the tournament. Just can't quite get them in nice position here for himself. Again, a little bit of trouble here. Tricky and off the yellow if he plays it. No, he's played the cannon, that's a good shot. Doesn't want that to drop, but a little bit unlucky. Lovely cueing there. Great run through cannon, gathering the balls around the middle pocket area and back in good position, control of the balls again. Match being refereed by Paul Cosgriff, one of the very top referees in Australia. Be playing the double kiss cannon here. Oh no, he could just get it out of the way. That's another good shot. Really battling with his position here. He's all over the place. However, he's still going, and that's the main thing. And as a player, these are the kind of breaks that make you feel really good. If he can turn this into a big break when he's been battling away like this, they're the ones that give you a lot of confidence when you finally get the balls in position. You've already got 60 or 70 to go. Again, drop cannon here towards top of the table. He's due for a good result. And that's okay. The run through cannon here. Use the jaw to bring the yellow back towards the red. He just got a bit too much of the jaw. Easy to do, new cloth on the cushions, ball sliding, so gets into the jaw a little bit more than normal. Again, just wobbling that one in. Pocket's playing quite friendly, just with the new cloth on there at the moment. Peter's broke up to 77 now. We're playing the balk line crossing rule here in the World Championship, which means you must send your cue ball over the balk line between 80 and 100, and every 100, so then between 180 and 200 and so on. So Peter coming up to that stage now, 77 to go. We'll be wanting to get the balls in really good position. Hasn't quite controlled that as he planned, so it's either got a short Jenny into the middle pocket or a forcing in off on the yellow. You take the yellow, take the in off here, and hope that he can control it to leave it somewhere in the middle of the table. Just looks like it's going to be okay. Just slows down a bit. Yep, that's good. So 82 now, so he really needs to get in good position so he can cross that balk line. Now we'll have to play the short Jenny. The yellow's out of commission. Lovely shot. So 87, 4 or 5 more shots he needs to get past the balk line. Probably drop this down for a cannon, I think. Yep. Now he'll be looking to get a pot on the red where he can get the angle to go across the balk line. So contact on this cannon is very important. He wants this left-hand side of the red, exactly as I said. Doesn't want it full. So 92 and awkward. Tricky screw cannon. Played it well. Quite a clever shot. Now he can pot the red and play for an angle to playing off the yellow into one of the balk pockets, and that will count as crossing the balk line. Oh no, he's decided to play the cannon. Now he's crossed the balk line. Well, a bit unlucky that that he's gone in off as well. Taking the pot on possibly, or the cannon. Might be taking the pot on, I reckon. Oh, and he's just jawed it. So real hard work 99 break from Peter there. He's never really in position. So he's done well really to score 99. And he's got an early lead of 107-0. A good starting shot there from Shrikrishna. This young guy's really entertaining player to watch. He's fast. He's got a nice long cue action. He's got good cue power. He won the Indian National Championship last year at the age of only 18 or 19. And we know how many great players there are from India. Played under the 100-up format, mind you, so your purist billiard players will say that that's not the true test, but it's still a huge effort with the quality of players in India to win under whatever format you're playing. So he's going to be a great player in years to come, and he's already very dangerous. Joining me in commentary is the great David Pitt. How are you, Dave?
I'm great, mate.
Good. Welcome along,
great
mate.
to be here. Thank you.
Great match for the second session of the first day.
Yeah.
Two high-class players. Obviously, Peter, a legend of the game, and one of the great up-and-coming young players in the world in Shrikrishna.
Yeah. No, it's exciting to see such a good young player coming up so early. Yeah, we saw him in Adelaide in 2015, winning the world under 21 that time, which he did in impressive style. Probably at that age he wasn't the prettiest player there, or the one with the best game, but he just basically monstered his way through the semis and the final with his aggressive play. But clearly since then he's developed his play into becoming a real machine, and it's just a testament to the strength of the field that we've got here, that we're seeing this match between two such strong players, right at the beginning of the round robin.
Important match for both of them.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
The winner of this is in strong position to finish on top of the group, and of course finishing on top of the group is vital to to getting a favourable draw through to the next phase of the tournament, the knockout, which starts on Thursday.
Well, it is, as long as you avoid the runner-up of the Corsia and Advani group.
Yes, well, that's...
So we've ended up with, two of the top probably 3 or 4 seeds, depending on who you speak to in the same group. So they're either Dave Corsia or Pankaj Advani is, all things being equal, those two will finish 1 and 2 in their group. You would probably...
Well, you might have imagined that, Matt, but don't forget I'm in that group as well.
Yeah, I had considered that before I said it, David. So maybe in a couple of years with a bit more practice, I might put you in front of them.
No, I think they're fairly safe. I played David Corsia this morning, and he played.
You had to win that one.
Yeah, I did have to win that one. I was going all right. The scores were level at about 70, but then he pumped in a big 100 and a 446, which basically meant I didn't have enough time to catch up. It was the only thing that really was
the clock got you.
The
clock got you.
The clock got me. Well, the clock and the fact that I was more than 800 behind. So
right.
The combination of those two things was deadly.
But what a great thing to say you've done, Dave.
Exactly.
You've been involved in the sport all your life. You're a great supporter of the
Wonderful.
game, and you've just got to play Dave Corsia in Melbourne on the number 1 table.
I haven't seen him play before, so it's wonderful to see him up close and to actually play.
No, good on you. Fantastic.
Champion like that is wonderful. And billiards is one of the very few sports that you can do that. And in tennis,
that's right.
I can never play Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal.
No.
In golf, you can't go and play against Tiger Woods or these people. But in billiards, it's possible for let's face it, the club player, if they're going around and playing in the tournaments, to be drawn against the best players in the world. And it's
absolutely.
It's a thrill, and I have to say, too, it's a great thrill for the lesser players, but it's just wonderful the way the grace which the top players accept that scenario. They're happy to play. It's useful for them because then they're getting in some table time.
Oh, for sure.
And some practice and just getting the feel of the conditions. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Great reply here from Shrikrishna. He's looking very confident and composed. I noticed that I played him in the last 16 yesterday in the World Open lead-up event. I haven't played him before. I managed to get over the top of him, but the one thing I did notice is that he's got a very, very good table presence with body language. He strides around the table, and it's almost like he's trying to send a message, even though he's a very young player at this level. I was quite, I really noticed it early on. I thought, oh, he's really trying to send a message that he's not scared of me, and that's a great attribute to have at such a young age. He's really got a presence, and he's answered back here. Peter just made a 99 break and was never in position the whole break, and ended up, the baulk line crossing rule ended up getting him. And straight away Shrikrishna's got the balls to top, and Peter was never here for the whole break, and he's got him perfect straight away. And this is a really good, confident reply from Shrikrishna.
So that attribute of Shrikrishna is the confidence and the body language around the table. Do you think that's innate or learned?
Oh, look, at such a young age, I think that's just a bit of a... I think he's just got that.
So just natural
I think.
confidence.
Well, this guy, without knowing his history and who's helping him and etc., to me, it looks like he's just got that built in as part of his personality and his makeup. Which, as I say, is a very strong thing to have. You watch all the great players, and when they need, when they need it. They seem to have that real strong body language around the table. So I don't know if he does it intentionally. I don't think he does it intentionally, especially so early in the match. But he just has that presence, and
that doesn't hurt.
yeah. So, and he's looking very nice here. He's played this very well. He's been in control the whole break.
And Matt, how lucky are we to be here at the RACV club here this week in Melbourne?
Well.
That was
that's just a little bit of inexperience. He rushed that. He just got down and slapped it. And
that was a shock actually, because
you must be ruthless when you're playing these top guys. You can't miss easy shots because you will cop it at some stage. So we all miss, but shots like that, you have to give as much attention to as you do the difficult shots.
Especially as he was taking his ball in and out of baulk. It's one that you've got to take a lot of care on. It's a
nice cannon from Peter there.
Just didn't get on the right side of the of the red. He would have rather got on the other side, maybe a bit of check side. Might have taken it across, but on this superfine cloth, of course, there's not a lot of action happening, is there?
No, but he landed okay. Had a nice, easy screwing off there. Going back to the RACV club, Dave, I mean, look, as a player, I've played all over the world, obviously, and this venue and this event is right up there with the very best that I've ever played in anywhere, and all the players are saying the same thing.
It's great to hear.
The billiard room here is just world class.
It's a beautiful room, isn't it?
It's magnificent. People watching now can see this. This is the #1 table down in a pit area, seating all around it. Last night, the World Open final, the place was absolutely packed. I've never seen an atmosphere like it for a snooker or billiards match in Australia.
Fantastic.
And I reckon there'll be double that here. I'm not sure how many were here last night. What do you reckon, 150?
Not quite that many. I think it was around 90 or 100. But
well, let's blow it up. Let's make it 150.
Okay,
And I'd say that we'll get double that next weekend for the World Final, and really encourage all the Victorian people that are interested in Q sports, all the snooker and billiards players that might be watching at the moment. Come along, because the sport needs everyone's support. But in terms of a venue and what's been put on for this World Championship, just 5-star, and the players staying at the RACV club, 5-star hotel.
It's the icing on the cake,
it's brilliant.
Isn't it, really?
Sorry? Yeah, it's the icing.
On the
absolutely.
cake.
You're upstairs, and everything's great. So we're going to see some serious billiards. I think Causey has kicked things off this morning with a 4.46 or something. I think it was
4.46.
4.46. And there's going to be lots of great breaks. obviously there's the $24,000 bonus for 1,000 break, which have all just been made to sign the waiver for.
Have you?
So
Oh,
yes,
okay,
no, there's been a document printed up. So one of the interesting
They didn't
things
ask
is
me
the
that.
you haven't been asked to sign the form, David.
I have not. That's
Well,
an oversight.
let me speak to those in charge. I have got an interesting point of discussion. The match must be completed according to the legal documentation.
Right, yeah.
So if something happens to your opponent,
Right.
you know, maybe a medical episode
Oh,
or something
okay,
like that,
Right.
and the match isn't actually completed and you've made the 1,000, well, no cash.
Oh, that's,
So
that's unusual, isn't it?
There's
Yeah.
the terms
Well,
and
the other-
conditions are about a page and a half long. I would have thought it was
Right.
quite straightforward. You either make
Well,
1,000 or you don't.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. But our chairman, Barry Jenner, is a lawyer, and of course, I always like to, dot all the.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised the document's only a page and a half.
Yeah. But
But yes, no, huge incentive for the players, and with it, Peter just not getting around the back of the yellow there, but still with a run through cannon.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely in the game because the conditions are conducive. The cloths are super reactive, which means that when you're a fraction out of position, you can play your little soft stun and soft screw shots around the top of the table to stay there, which you can't when the cloths aren't as reactive. The pockets are friendly at top level. They're great, but they are, with the new cloth on them, they are friendly. It's not difficult potting balls along cushions and that kind of thing. They do slide in. So look, it's
ideal
never
conditions then
ideal
for
conditions.
a 1,000 break?
It's never been done under the balk line rule. But records are there to be broken, aren't they? Someone's going to do it at some stage, and maybe this is the week. And wouldn't it be great for the sport if it happened?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So the other part about finishing the match, Matt, if the player does happen to make 1,000 break, they can't just rush out to the bar and start ordering champagne.
No.
They have to stick around and finish it off.
Yeah, and don't forget to sign the score sheet.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'll be forgetting that. So that 1,000 break, of course, is prize is being underwritten by one of our sponsors, Aussie Fresh, and also our main sponsor, which is Endeavour Life Care. So it's fantastic that those two companies and one or two individuals have underwritten this really good innovation. It's a bit like a hole-in-one prize, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's great, and the players are certainly all talking about it. And I think what it mainly does is that once you get to maybe 300, 400, 500, sometimes very easy to become a little bit lax when you're playing a match that's the result's already determined. You're well in front.
Yep.
You start playing a bit too quick. You start rushing, and often you end up missing an easy shot rather than a difficult shot. So, but with that in the back of your mind, just to keep going, I think even if it doesn't happen, it will create heavier scoring. Full stop, because of that mindset. Obviously difficult to do in the hour and a half matches in the round robin. Difficult to do at any time, but the hour and a half, you need most of that hour and a half to make 1,000.
But nonetheless, interesting just watching Peter here. He's really being very, very careful and not playing at in his usual pace.
Well, he just can't quite get him to top.
He's just struggling around. We saw him at the Yarraville during the Pacific International this year. Matt, I was in commentary with you, and
That's
I think
right.
he made 3 200s in a match without ever really being at the top. And I recall you saying to me that's actually fantastic for your game because it gives you a lot of confidence, in your all-round game, and the fact that when the balls aren't running for you, you're still able to, keep scoring heavily. Well, here he is, he's doing it again. Really.
I mentioned that exact thing before you jumped in the commentary, Dave. That's exactly right. And at last, he's in position here. He scored 167 points. I think he scored a 7 or something first visit, then he made 99, and now he's on 60. So this is his third visit for the match, and he just can't get perfect.
He's just got that a bit thick.
Needs a good pot here.
A bit slow off the top cushion, and he does need a good pot here. These look straightforward, but with your hand on the cushion, there's just that little. Yeah,
not a gimme.
Bit more difficult.
Oh no, he's played this. He's squibbed it.
Well, in a sense, safety first.
Yeah, not one to take the risk. So he's playing a soft cannon. and leave himself another option at cannon. He's got two options. He can play off the yellow, or he could play screw back off the red and send the red up and down.
Yep. That's okay.
He's controlled the yellow there to try and play for the in-off. A little bit of a wry glance there, not happy with that. So
Just a bit wide, do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit wide, so he's going to play the red cushion yellow and try and bring the red back up and push the yellow behind the spot to top of the table. He hasn't hit the red, but
I think you might find that the red is going to be a little bit short.
No.
Yes, but,
yeah, he hasn't quite.
So he's
Difficult.
just struggling here.
You know, he's battling around, so again, two options here. Difficult run through in off or a screw back cannon. He's playing the cannon. Oh, maybe the run through in off actually. Yeah, look at the side on the ball there for the viewers.
Not quite.
69.
So,
Again, just couldn't get in position, could he?
Yep.
So that's, I mean, Peter scored 176 points for the match, and he hasn't been at top of the table in position yet. So, and he's left Shrikrishna another chance
got an
here.
opening here for sure.
We've got the great Steve Mifsud just sat down behind us here. Whose billiards in the last 12 months or 6 months in particular has gone to genuinely another level. Steve's beaten his highest break, Dave, 3 times in the last few months.
Yep. That's fantastic.
So we know what great champion is of snooker in Australia, and it's awesome to see him put the time into his billiards and become a genuine contender at this level now.
He's been playing fantastically. Steve's highest was in the 408 in the 2009 Australian, where you had a squeaky narrow win against him.
That's right.
And then this year he bettered that with 575 unfinished in the National, which you were unkind enough to knock off the next day.
Yep.
And then 2 400s in the Victorian.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Dave. No, Steve's really, and then in the Victorian, just the other week, he's had two, a 450 odd and a 420 odd. So when you start going from making 2 and 300s, which is plenty of players in the world can do, to pushing up to the 4s and 5s, then you become capable of beating anyone. So look, you know, we got Steve's got a great chance to go really deep into this tournament. And fly the Aussie flag.
So an interesting bit of news from in the billiards room. We've just heard that Anna Lynch, the Australian Women's Championship, is leading Joe Manici, the 2-time Australian champion, by about 40 points early in the game. So
no, that's a great start for Anna.
Great start for Anna. She's been a little bit of the face of this tournament with some of the publicity that we've had in the Age on Sunday, a full page article, and then on the 2 of the news stations, the ABC News and the Channel News last night, both featured Anna, and she's doing a great job with the publicity for the tournament, but she's also doing a very good job on the table, leading an Australian champion.
Yeah, it was interesting. They actually predicted that I gave her a chance in that match, Dave, to a couple of people this morning.
Okay,
You know. No disrespect to Joe, but I don't think I think he'll take a little bit to get used to this super fine cloth. He openly says himself he doesn't enjoy the excess slide and skid that these conditions give, the way he plays. So he likes to knock the balls around a bit. And look, Anna's one of the very few girls in the world that plays billiards how billiards should be played. She plays the right shots. She tries to get the balls over the middle pocket. She tries to get to the top of the table. So if she can play her steady game, you know, she's got a great chance of beating Joe. And
of course, Joe's notorious for always dropping a match in the round robin, which you can't really afford to be doing at this level of competition.
No, you know, if it takes you a few matches to get the feel of the tables, it can be too late. So
I do know that Anna's been in here at the RACV.
She's been practicing hard
for the last several weeks.
Yeah, that'll help a lot.
Coming in, playing on the tables, putting in the work. She's been practicing probably 3 hours a day for many days of the week, which is probably the hardest she's ever worked like that.
Well, that's great. Yeah, she deserves it. She deserves a result like that. I mean, that, and you know.
Well, she's been a beacon for the women's game in Australia. 18 times Victorian champion, and she was the inaugural Australian Women's Billiards Championship this year. Great initiative by the Australian Billiards and Snooker Council to inaugurate that championship. Shrikrishna's just missed a soft screw cannon there where he slid past the red. So
Yeah,
easy to do.
didn't like the shot selection there,
Yeah,
Dave. I
no.
think he should have just taken the half ball in off the red and brought that back up over towards the yellow, the white.
Yeah.
Difficult when you're playing stun cannons in the middle of the table.
exactly.
One, to get the shot on this superfine cloth,
Yep.
and two, to
To
control
know
the
where they're
balls.
going. Couldn't agree more with you.
So I
Yeah.
think maybe a little shot
Yeah.
selection error there by Shrikrishna.
Yeah, and surprisingly, really, it showed a little bit of a lack of confidence, perhaps, in getting that
You definitely.
long loser. But
Yeah,
at his
but
level,
made the way
you know,
he cues, he
the
should
way
have
he
no
cues, he should have
hesitation.
absolutely
Yeah.
none. Yeah. So he sort of handed it the advantage back to Peter here. He's got a chance to go down to the top here and perhaps build a few. We'll see how it turns out.
It's going to feel it's going to feel like Christmas when he eventually gets to the top of the table nicely.
Got a nice little kiss at the end, which just meant they ended up perfectly. But
Yeah, and there's for the people watching, Dave, there's basically two ways to play the drop cannon. One is to try and control the contact on the red, either full or to the side, and push it towards the pocket. And the other is to simply gather the balls as close as you can, where you're bringing the balls as close as possible. So you're either trying to push the red off its spot towards the pocket,
Yep.
so that you've got a pot on it, and bring the opponent's ball in underneath the spot. Or sometimes when you're not quite perfect and you can't do that, or so often when the balls when you're playing off the red like this, that you're just trying to gather the balls as close as possible to give yourself an option. So often depends whether or not you're playing red, opponent's ball to red, or
Yep.
red to opponent's ball. And again, you see Peter just fighting a bit for position here.
18.
that was nice that he didn't get a kiss there.
That's worked
turned
out
very
lovely.
nicely, yeah.
Right, he's going to end up at top here at last.
Yeah.
So
Some great close-up camera angles here
Yeah,
from our
fantastic.
producer Dan Lynch from Cue Ball TV. He's got a 4-camera setup here, which I think is the first time you've had a 4-camera setup, Dan, at the RACV at any rate, and we were able to get close-up shots from both sides of the table, plus the overhead camera shot. And Peter Gilchrist, even I can tell that he's made a complete hash of that.
yeah,
It
just
just went right across the face of the red. It was amazing, really.
27.
yeah, it is a new cloth. You play that cannon there that he just made a little bit of a meal of. You get that a bit thick with running side. You can throw it a lot further than you mean to. It really does break wide off the object ball.
So we've just been joined in the commentary booth by Steve Mifsud, 8-time Australian national champion, a dual Australian billiards champion, and of course the world amateur snooker champion in 2002 in Egypt. And so I'm going to hand over to Steve, and in commentary you'll have two of the only 3 players who've ever made a 500 break in the Australian Championship. The other being Bob Marshall. But Steve's just going to sit in for about 10 minutes or so and talk you through this next section. Thanks.
Thanks, David. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Good, mate.
That's
Good.
the way.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm well, mate. Enjoying this great event, the first day of it. So, and Peter,
Very exciting.
very exciting.
for us.
Yes.
World Championship in our home country in these lovely conditions, and all the best players here. So
Yeah,
perfect.
Probably the strongest field in the modern era
Yeah.
is being spoken of for a world championship, which is just awesome.
And now Peter.
Eventually,
He's there.
he's there,
He's got him.
and he will be
So-
feeling great because he's got a nice lead of 130, and he hasn't really had control of the balls at top of the table in the match so far. And now he'll be looking to make something big, and put a good gap in the match to make it really hard for Shrikrishna to come back.
56-59 now. The break goes to, and 51 minutes to go. So,
Yep.
What's possible here, Matthew? You'd be
For Peter to make a
person
break.
to predict on what sort of a break if he was to play out time at this point.
Well, if he was to play out time, you'd probably be looking at somewhere around the 5.5 minutes 100 to 6 minutes 100, just depending on how much he's at top of the table and how much he's in open play. So,
Has he slowed down a fraction? I think he used to be
yeah,
a little bit quicker,
yeah,
like years ago.
Yeah,
Like just-
probably a good comment. Yeah, he's maybe just a touch slower than he used to be, but only a fraction.
Yeah.
You know, so
Just-
they're probably
Always been a very, very fluent player. Lovely to watch. Great cueist.
probably
just-
somewhere around the.
Just hits through the ball so well, doesn't he?
Oh, look, he's magnificent cueist, and people. I mean, Peter's about 6'5", 6'6", I think, and just gets down so flat over the cue for a big guy.
Yep. Yep.
Which makes a great help when you're striking through the ball. But there's probably somewhere he could probably make around about he could probably go close to the 1,000, Steve, but probably more likely the 800 to 900 if he played out time.
Yep.
Hard to stay at top for that long without having to go into some open play.
He's got him pretty. He's got the yellow quite tight to the spot here.
He has,
Which
he's got it
he doesn't
beautifully.
usually play it like that, does he? Like
Yeah, there's the balk line crossing, and he's just got the wrong cushion. He was trying to get the balk cushion first. I think he just got the side cushion. The angle just flicked off. The camera angle just caught me out there.
just a razor thin cannon here, softly. Like, not a nice shot to have to play, but
No.
if he gets it right, he'll be. No, he hasn't gone for the real thin one. He's just.
Sort of tried to cash it and hope he ended up with a little shot.
Yeah.
I think he's okay.
He's
here.
okay. He goes
Yeah.
underneath here and.
Little soft gather, leave them together.
No.
No,
Well,
that's
that's
nice.
pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
It's interesting. I was commentating yesterday and trying to predict the shots of Mike, and I was getting it wrong often. There's so many different ways to play the game.
Absolutely. There's
People don't understand this when they're watching billiards. Like,
great
you
comment,
develop
Steve.
your own style. You can. It's just.
Yep, you see little 2 and 3 shot sequences different to other players. Even the very best players in the world see little 2 and 3 shot sequences up
Yeah.
the top of the table, slightly different. There's certain shots that you're more comfortable with. There's certain ways to recover the balls back to top of the table. There's more than one way often to do it, you know. Some guys are great potters and are confident to play pots to stun around the back of the balls and play cannons. Other guys prefer to look for the cannon straight away. So, there's different ways when the balls just aren't quite perfect, and that's a lovely shot there. You see how he's just brought the red back up past the yellow. He'll pot the red now, and he'll play what we call a correcting cannon, and he pushed the yellow back behind the spot. So, looks simple, but as we all know, for people that are learning the game and everything, to put the balls at top of the table and try and keep them there is very difficult.
That's the real art of the game.
It's the real skill, the real touch, and the real uses of little flicks of side and control of the ball.
Unless you're Dave Corsia, and then the art of the game is just shot making. And I think we're just watching him today. His top's really improved. He's like, I think he was just. I sort of liken it a little bit to Neil, because when Neil was practicing snooker in Australia as a junior, he just worked on his long game. He sort of recognised that was the art of getting to the top level, and he was actually like, he actually got beat a lot when he was a junior. Like, unlike Quinton, myself, Joel,
you dominated.
We won tournaments early, but he took a while because he was working on the long game, sort of, and then the break building, and that's well documented. Hendry told him he needs to work on it, and he did, and he got that together. It's sort of a little bit like Corsia.
Like Dave,
he's working on his top later.
Yeah.
In his,
he developed
in
all
his
the shots
career.
first.
He's got all that, those ridiculous recovery shots that he plays. And
Look, and you see his results in the last few years, winning a few world titles. That took him to quite late in his career to become world champion.
Well, I didn't think it was going to happen for a while because I thought,
his top wasn't good enough.
Peter and Mike were just dominating, and he couldn't compete. But now, it's incredible, like the success he's had the last 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely, and if we're talking about, who is the very best at certain aspects of the game, I don't think there's much argument that in terms of all-round brilliance, Corsia is the best player in the world, but his top's not the best in the world. So it's that balance of what's good enough to win a tournament, but his top's certainly good enough that it's good enough to win, obviously become world champion, which he has done. So, it's fascinating, the different styles.
It just highlights how, different, how many different ways you can play billiards.
Absolutely.
You just develop your style, and it's not like, you've got to play like, the old time players play the losers all day long, and that game's... No one really plays that anymore.
You can't compete at the top level unless your top is at a very high level, and two, that your all-round game is also a very high level. And we see Peter here, he's got him perfect again, up to 167.
So he looks, I don't know, it looks like to me he's just playing a bit tighter at top. His top looks in really good shape.
Yeah. Well, they are nice with these cloths. If you can get them close, they are. You can keep them close, and Peter's got them perfect here.
So
So he'd be thinking now, Steve. You'd be thinking now, like you want to put the match to bed at this visit, even though it's only halfway through the match. He's 250 in front. Well, if he can make another 200. That puts him 450 in front with probably only about half an hour left. Almost game over, even if Shrikrishna plays out time. So, at real top level, you're starting to think, right, I'm perfect, I'm 180. Let's turn this into something big and put the match away.
Is he going to cross now? I think the red's a bit
too
close to the pocket. No, he has
played the other shot. That's a good shot.
Yeah.
So there's two shots generally the players are looking to play, Steve, with the baulk line crossing when they're up at top of the table. The one you saw Peter just play there, where you use the side cushion between the middle pocket and the baulk pocket, and then the baulk hits the baulk cushion and straightens up and comes up the table.
Yep.
Or you're looking to play into the baulk cushion, the side cushion, and bring it round off five cushions. So if we see one of them, we'll explain it again a bit later. But Peter played that last one absolutely perfect.
It's a difficult thing, the baulk line crossing. It's not really something that you can go away and practice too much, because I was speaking to Pankaj about this, and all tables play so differently, and the angles are different, so you can't. It's not a shot that you can just get and then transfer it to here, because these cushions throw differently. And
that's right. I actually practiced them the other night when I was having a practice. I played probably 30 or 40 shots.
Yeah.
Just practicing the baulk line crossing to get the feel of exactly how the tables were playing, where your margin for error was, to get the ball round. And Peter's second visit in this match, he broke down with the baulk line crossing. And look, 8-9 times out of 10, when you're in position at top of the table, you'll do it successfully at this level. But if you're not in position, it can be very, very tricky. So, and it does cause a lot of breaks to break down.
It does. That's it does what it's designed to do.
He's nice and close again here, Steve.
Yeah, he's really. I don't know. I've watched a fair bit of Peter, but I haven't seen him play this. This sort of tight top of the table play.
He's got him really nice. This has been a lovely break.
All right, so it's 219.
Yep, he's racing along. And when you've got him this nice for this long and nice and close, it doesn't take as much energy out of you mentally, because you seem to be in such good control all the time. that you're scoring 20 or 30 points quickly all the time without moving the balls too much. So it's often the time that you turn it into something big.
Sort of like the mind stops, doesn't it? And you just start.
Yeah.
You're just flowing, are you?
Yeah, he's and again, nice shot
Look at that.
there.
That's
He's
beautiful.
got it back. He's got the feel of this cloth and the pace of the table. Beautiful now. He's going around the table. Yep. Oh, this is in
Ooh.
an interesting angle. His pace
Ooh.
needs to be perfect here.
Well, he'll be doing well to get back into position in a few shots here.
Very
'cause
soft cannon here.
send the red, screw back, send the red off 3 cushions back to the corner pocket.
This shot in Australia, everyone is known as the Mifsud. No one plays it better than him.
Well, it's not going towards the pocket. It's a more gathering shot. He's played the paces
Oh, that might have
absolutely
just
beautiful.
Down. Oh, he's okay here.
Yeah.
A couple of little nicely played. Now we can try and get the right contact on the red here. Oh no, so it wasn't quite what I saw there on the camera angle. So just pushing the yellow over for the in-off. He's really starting to flow along and motor along now. Picked up his speed a little bit. Just overhit a fraction maybe. Yeah, can't quite get to the drop cannon. Ooh.
This is the problem when it's like a different zone, isn't it? Like you're in that flow and
Yep.
then you go away from it.
Yep.
If you don't get back there in a few shots, it's
That's it. You almost become anxious. You just want to get straight back there.
Yep.
And really, you've got to be just as precise with these other shots as you do when you're at top of the table.
Yep.
Now, can he make this? He's looking to throw it with running side. No, he's going to have to use the cushion.
I think he's all right. There's no chance of a double kiss here.
No, he's wide enough.
It's just spotting in the correct spot,
Yep.
getting the cushion in the right spot, and controlling the speed.
Looks good. Oh, that's delightful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you would have thought it was going to be delightful when he glanced the edge of the red, but
They're the fractions in billiards. He just needs like a quarter ball kiss there, and he's plumb.
exactly.
He's just
Yep.
back. But
Or if the yellow doesn't come quite as far, the cushion cannon becomes easy. But now he's got an in off the red or a cushion cannon. In off the red's probably a bit wide actually. So thinnish this one, Steve, by the looks of it.
super fine.
Yeah.
Super fine. This one.
Played it well. Just getting an update here. Match with a fair bit of interest in it. Anna Lynch, our Australian ladies champion. She currently leads Joe Manici 189 to 159. So that's going to be a great finish to that match. And as I said earlier, I did give her a good chance in that game today on these conditions. She's been practicing really hard here at the club, and Joe may take a match or two to find his feet on these cloths. So,
And historically, Joe's got a bit of a knack of struggling through groups and
Yep.
just scraping through, and then knocking off some high seed in the, in the knockout stage.
Stevie openly
I
said
wouldn't recommend it at the World Championships. But
No, he won't get away with that here. But he does openly say that he struggles with the slide and the reactivity of brand new conditions for the first few days of events. So,
Yep.
you know, and as we know, Joe's been a great ambassador of Q Sports over probably 30 odd years in this country. A huge, great guy.
Yeah.
Plays with a great smile on his face. Likes to entertain. And I'm sure if Anna did manage to get up in that match, which she's got a long way from doing at the moment, but if she did manage to get up, Joe would be the first person to be happy for her.
Absolutely right. Back to this break.
Back to this, 274.
The balk line's coming up, Matthew, and he's not.
He's just had a practice at it.
Oh yeah.
So
One in the bank. Can he use that, or he's got one in the bank?
I don't know.
I crossed it at 274, ref.
It'd be nice if you could credit him, wouldn't it? Oh, he's missed that. Great break from Peter. 274. Appreciation from the crowd there.
And with that, I'm going to I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Steve,
head
you've got a
off.
match in the
I've
next
got
session, I believe. Who have you got, mate, in your first game?
Glenn McConnell.
Glenn McConnell, no
Yeah.
worries. Well, nice chatting with you in the commentary. Good luck
Very
for your
good. I
match.
enjoyed it.
And
Yeah.
let's fly that Aussie flag.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Good luck,
Good
buddy.
luck to you too.
Cheers, mate.
Grant Midley's gonna join Matthew now, and yeah.
Afternoon, Grant.
Matthew Bolton, afternoon.
How are you, mate?
Fantastic.
Good. Well done in your first match this morning, mate. You had a good win, so nice start for you.
Yeah, it was
against an improving player in Adwin Tay
Yeah.
from Australia, who I thought that would actually be a tight game. Adwin's really improved, as you know, over the last 12 months, 6 to 12 months. So well done, mate. That's a good start for you.
yeah, it was a good little start. It was very scrappy out there, but quite heavy this morning actually. We had some really heavy contacts early in the match. It seemed a little bit warm in the room. Yeah, we could hear the balls contacting fairly heavily, and we had some unusual reactions.
Yep.
But it's good to get the arm gain and
Yeah, get the feel of the tables.
feel of the tables, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Peter in a commanding position here now. Pretty much, what have we got? Lead of about 370. So you would think that this one's done and dusted, and Peter would be happy to get this out of the way because, as we know, Shrikrishna is a very dangerous young player and going to be, a future star on the world stage in the next, 3 to 5 years. I'm sure his game will get up to the level to compete with. Well, not that he's not already competing, but he's got a hell of a lot of improvement in him at such a young age.
Yeah, he certainly has, and he's a very fluent player too. He's actually quite enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, he's very good to watch. I was saying earlier in the commentary, he's got a real presence around the table.
He does, yeah.
Really bounces around the table, and he's got great body language and confidence, which is a great attribute to have at such a young age. So he's obviously going to be one to watch out in years to come, and who knows, he can still do damage in this tournament, even though he's looking like getting off to a slow start here against Peter. But
Yeah,
Peter's been quite good. So.
It's a tough first match to draw Peter in that group.
Absolutely, tough match for both of them.
Yeah. They would have liked to have drawn each other at the later stages of the group matches.
Yeah.
Who else have they got in their group? Matthew, I haven't really looked at the...
Have we got a program here? It's, see if we
Obviously, with the world rankings and all of the players that do compete in the tournaments, it does open up to some interesting groups.
Yeah, absolutely it does. The way the seedings work for everyone is that for those people watching that wonder how it's all done, it's seeded straight off the World Billiards rankings. Okay, so literally top to bottom. And for those that are sort of questioning why Pankaj Advani and Dave Causey are in the same group, that's Pankaj hasn't played in any of the WBL events, and therefore is almost non-existent, so to speak, on the ranking list.
Yeah,
He's right down the bottom,
Yeah.
and it literally is seeded exactly. Players are placed in order of their seeding off the world rankings. So it's always an interesting discussion point for people, and there's varying opinions on how it should be done and what's what. But at the end of the day, Grant, the one thing that I can promise everyone is that the best player will win the tournament. So yeah, look, there's going to be some tough draws along the way. There's going to be maybe some easier draws along the way. But at the end of the day, once you get to the knockout, the last 8, the last 16 players, you got to beat 3 or 4 world-class players if you want to be world champion.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't get through your group stages, you shouldn't be in the last 8 or 16. But it's always the case. The cream rises to the top, and all top players will see their group matches out and get ready for the final stages of the event.
Absolutely. I'm just flicking through the program here to see who's in this section, but there isn't. The groups aren't in the program. No.
So Peter's trying to work these balls into a usable position here. We've got some nursery cannons come up here, Matthew.
Well, he likes to entertain a bit, the Gilchrist, once the match is done, which it pretty much is. Maybe not technically, there is enough time, but here we go. See if he can run a few cannons here, and obviously he's just lost them.
Yeah. poor Eric Worsley will be sitting in the crowd shaking his head.
Yeah, Walter might be rolling over in his grave, seeing how quickly he lost them.
Walter would have got 2 laps around the table in, I dare say, for that
That's
position.
right. No, Walter would be just taking them around the middle pocket now.
So they've actually requested that the light shade be put up for Peter's game because he likes to get his cue up in the air, as he just did then.
Is that right?
Yeah. Every time I see Peter play, he's always got the cue up at some stage during the match.
Yeah, no, he plays those massies and the little soft screws from
Yeah.
up high in the air really, really well.
He does. That's a good little pot there with a jigger. So the last half hour's coming up with this match. Peter with a commanding lead.
Yeah, but still important for both players because your points, you're reseeding the knockout stages are seeded on your performance in the round robin. So points for and against is how the knockout draw is done. So the seedings at the start of the tournament in some ways become irrelevant because everything is reseeded on your performance in the round robin. So Peter will be looking to win this match by another couple of hundred that he's in front by now. Shrikrishna will be looking that if he can't win the match to try and get within 100 or 200 points.
Yeah.
Because it could help them when the knockout draw gets done.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is to draw one of the top 4 seeds in the first round of the knockouts, and it's a hard task.
Yeah, absolutely. So Peter here will be trying to get this red somewhere towards the yellow so he can recover the yellow ball, which is just a little bit out of play at the moment. So you see there, bring it up on a nice line, and now we'll be able to get the yellow back into play. Play a cannon here, just make sure that he doesn't pot the red in the middle pocket. Oh, and he's just motioning there that the table's rolled off a little bit.
The table's moved, nephew.
Yeah, look, who knows, maybe.
Let's say someone moved in the background there.
And
I know,
you just see Peter motioning there with his fingers that it's moved off. He has motioned twice that it's moved off a fair bit. I must admit, I do find that a little bit surprising. I've played a lot on this table, Grant, over the years. Big snooker matches and snooker tournaments. And generally, it's very, very true.
Yeah.
So, but and sometimes can hit a finger mark on the new cloth, but maybe there is a little roll there. I'm sure that Peter will check it after the game, and that's a great shot from Shrikrishna.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see him make a break here because he is great to watch. He's very fluent, really good cueist. Nice shot there to leave himself a little mini drop cannon, and he'll be trying to push these balls down to gather them towards the top cushion and the spot, behind the red spot.
He pushes through the ball very nicely.
Yeah, he's a good cueist, this kid. Very good cueist. His game will develop over the next few years. We see another great young player from India, Devaj Harrier, whose game in the last 2 or 3 years, no doubt Devaj is the most improved player in the world over the last 2 or 3 years. He lost a fantastic final last night of the World Open to Dave Corsier by just 7 points or 8 points or something, and was at the table at the end and just couldn't quite get there in time. But what a brilliant start to the week that was, and what a great match.
Yeah, it was a good climax to the match there. It was
a great atmosphere, and So, but Harrier, no doubt, his game's really gone up a couple of levels in the last year or two, and I'm sure at some stage Shrikrishna is going to find that improvement as well, where he just finds that he goes up a level or two. He's got all the ingredients for it. He's got the knowledge, he's got the cueing, and he's obviously got he's got access to all the resources, being from India, and all the coaching and all the knowledge that you need to learn the game.
Yeah, they've definitely got a great system in India. A lot of these players are sponsored by companies, and they've got a lot of support from the country. It's a big sport in India, and good on them. It's great to have the support of many people behind you. They've definitely got a bright future in India with these 2 young players. So the break moves on to 38, and Shrikrishna is at the top of the table here.
We just had a question about ticket prices. I think it's $10, Grant, to get in for the. I think yeah, it's anyway, it's cheap. So whoever's asked that on YouTube, it's cheap. Get down here for $10. You can't go and watch the best in the world at any sport for $10. So
Yeah.
come down and watch some matches, meet the players, and have a nice cold drink at the RACV club.
It was a great crowd last night. We had probably over 100 people here, I dare say, in the room, and it's probably the largest billiard crowd I've ever seen.
Definitely, I predict we'll get over double that ground at the end of the World Championship.
Yeah.
I think the momentum will build during the week, and really hope that all the locals. I mean, there's a very strong interest in Q Sports in Victoria. It's the strongest state in Australia.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's hope that there's a good few hundred here. I know the reserved seating, I think, for the semis and the final is sold out. The reserved seating, but everyone will get in. Plenty of other room around the tables and plenty of viewing area, but it'd be great to see a couple of hundred here for the finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Shrikrishna going nicely here. This is what they call postman's knock play, where the two forms of top of the table play. Postman's knock, where the opponent's ball's jammed against the cushion like this, and floating white, where it's off the cushion and moving around. But he's got this absolutely perfectly behind the spot. So let's see how long. He won't be trying to move it. He'll have no need to move it once it's locked like this, Grant. So let's see how long he can keep it there. You just see with the reactivity of the cloth, it just squeezed to the side a bit there with the side, but he'll be trying to keep it there for as long as he can, unless he lands with a bad angle on the cannon and has to flick it off, which is no big deal. But yeah, not the more preferred method for top players these days. Most of the players prefer the floating white, where it's off the cushion. However, I personally enjoy playing. If it ends up there, I'm happy to keep it there for a while, and I think most players are, because it does break up the floating white a bit as well. Geet Sethi was a great master of postman's knock play. You know, look at the Indian legend Geet, that seven times world champion. He was a fantastic exponent of the postman's knock.
Yeah, Geet said he's probably the most famous exponent of the postman's knock. Fantastic player to watch, Geet. Unfortunately, he's not here at this event, but he's probably one of the smoothest players you ever see on a billiard table.
Thanks for the kind comments on the commentary and the camera angles. We're absolutely blessed here. We've got world-class streaming from Dan Lynch, who does all the Q Sports events around Australia. Snooker, billiards, pool, 9-ball, you name it, he's there and he does it. And, the quality of it is really world-class. Look at these angles we've got up top here, and the clarity of the balls and the spin that you can see with the spots on the balls is just awesome for the viewers. So, and people that play the game, no doubt, will be watching and learning, just seeing all this side, that's the flicks of side that he used. So, and Shrikrishna's played this absolutely beautifully, this postman's knock.
He has, and he just navigated the balk line crossing a few points ago too. He's still got the opponent's ball heavy on the back cushion there.
Yep.
He's just pushing down on the ball there to get the reaction. That's a great little shot. To lift the cue a little bit there. So Matthew, when you're playing postman's knock, there's a few fundamentals you look for to continue the break here.
Yeah, look, you're either trying to land after you play the cannon, then you've got the pot on the red. You're either trying to land parallel with the red spot, so you've got like a half ball pot, so to speak, or a bit thicker than half ball, just to drop it in, or you're going up high to the cannon. You don't want to land straight on the red, which he did then, and you can see that he's caused a small problem. He had to pot it again and was still straight, and so had to pot it and go up to the middle spot, and now he's got a tough shot with the rest. So it looks easy, but you have to keep landing with an angle, whether enough angle to play the cannon or enough angle to play the pot, and he's broken down through one poor positional shot.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the postman's knock and floating white. You do have a lot more tolerance with the floating white, and with the postman's knock, you have to land on those lines. It's crucial to get that full ball kiss on the opponent's ball.
Yep. So he'd be a little disappointed there. It was a good break. He hasn't had much table time, and he's still. The thing that impresses me about this guy is he still looks confident, even though he hasn't been on the table. He's playing the world number one. He's 400 points behind when he comes to the table, and he makes a lovely 100 break, as though he's 400 in front. So Definitely good signs for this young fella going forward. Okay, he's played that well, but I hate that shot, Grant.
Yeah.
And he actually played 2 of them against me in the round of 16
And how did
in
they
the World
land?
Open. No good. They both caused him to break down. I didn't mention them to him, mate, because he's going to be a really good player, but he can keep playing them for as long as he likes.
Yeah, it's an unusual shot.
I think Manoj Kathari is the Indian manager or coach that's coming, and I can promise you one thing, that if Manoj sees him plays that shot, he'll be getting a little talking to.
Yeah.
Because now, okay, the match may be over and all. Well, it's not over, actually. It's probably a poor call from me. It's not over. He's got time. He plays out time here, he makes 300.
7-minute hundreds. It's
yeah, but he's got to forget about playing that pot and cannon to try and push the balls to the top of the table.
So we just had another update on Joe Manici versus Anna Lynch match with 20 minutes left. Anna's still ahead by roughly 10 points. So she's travelling well. Australia's ladies champion. A lot of pressure on Joe Manici, and he is struggling with the conditions. So Shrikrishna here, he's just lost a little bit of his position here, Matthew. He's on the
played a
cushion.
good one here, nice and fine.
Yeah.
Played it really well.
That's a great shot.
Played it really well. So what have we got, Grant? We've got 271 points, the difference, with 20 minutes left. So those viewers watching wondering how many you can score, he's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
And it seems like a long way, but if you can get yourself to half that, you know, if you can get yourself to 130, 140, all of a sudden you start believing that you can do it. So you're not thinking, I need to make 270. For now, he's just trying to stay on the table. And once he gets up to, if he can get to 100, 150, all of a sudden he'll give himself a chance.
Yeah, he wants that red to come off a little bit.
Yeah, he's okay, I think.
Okay.
I think he's got a little bit of angle there. Yeah, cued it beautiful.
That's a great
He's a
shot.
very, very nice cueist. He's got a nice long pullback and really gets through the ball nice.
He doesn't muck around, does he? He's straight down on the shot and
No,
very
he
confident.
plays like he's been playing a long time, which is a great sign. And he has been a good young player for a while. I mean, I think he's world junior champion at about the age of 14 or 15.
Yeah.
So he's gaining experience quickly for his age.
Yeah, India's definitely ahead in producing future champions in this game. We've got some good young players in Australia too. It's obviously Joshua Byrne, the 2 Joshuas actually. I had a great little game with Joshua Hand the other day. He's a fantastic little player, and you know, his highest break is 37, and he managed 2 30s against me, Matthew.
Right, yeah.
14-year-old kid, and you know, he's
Just starting, just learning, just
literally
starting.
just started the game. Yeah.
And loves it. So great experience for him to play in the World Open, and spent just 5 or 10 minutes showing him a couple of things the other day and giving him some stuff to practice when he goes back home. So he'll improve really quickly. He hits the ball good. He knows how to use side, and most importantly, he's got a real passion for the game. So
yeah, he's got a great personality too. Very respectful to all the players. Comes up and says hello and shakes your hand.
Yeah, excitable little fella.
Yeah.
So which is great. So going nicely here again. He's close towards post. Be interesting to see if he knocks this back up. Yeah, just takes it up a little bit. So Coach, he's going around the table.
It's always risky.
Yeah, this is heading to a bad area.
It is. You don't want to land low on the red here, unfortunately.
Does he get to the cross loser? He does.
He does, yeah.
Right,
That's
well, that's
worked
a
out well.
result. Yeah.
With the balk line crossing approaching though, he's still got a little bit of work to get the red in a position to cross the balk line with his ball.
Just needs good pace on this so he can play the pot. He's played this nicely. It's a good shot. Now he can pot it and get back down to the top of the table. Played that beautifully.
Yep.
Big difference there. You really got to get that ball back up over the middle. I mean, if you leave it short, you can play the drop cannon, but you risk losing your position if you've got to play the drop cannon. If you can just pot it and go back down, everything's still perfect.
Exactly. When their opponent's ball's sitting in the perfect position, you don't want to do too much with that
Again,
ball.
that beautiful cueing there for people watching at home. That, you know, he just got down and knocked that in of 2 cushions to come up high and cued it an absolute dream. And he's back in A1 position.
So he might take the crossing now,
Is that
which
the
he
crossing?
does.
Yeah, he's on 81. Oh, he's near the pocket, is he?
No, he's okay.
Is he okay? No, he's good.
Yeah.
It's worked out well. Perfect. He can play the cannon up behind the white here, off the cushion. Well, he's a smoky chance, Grant. He's a smoky chance.
Yeah. He's got that lead back down to, 212 now, and there's still 16 minutes left. It's very doable.
Very doable, yep. I mean, it's a huge effort, it's a huge ask, but
Yeah.
he's given himself a chance, and whatever happens, he's showing some real great character and determination for his age and stage of the game.
All Peter can do now is just sit and watch and hope.
Yep.
It's not many games in the world where you can't really do much to counteract your opponent.
No.
Q Sports is probably the only game I can think of that there's not many. Yeah, you just have to sit and watch and hope.
That's right. He's you've just got to wait for your turn, and with the leather of the pocket sticking up there,
Yeah.
just asking the referee to get rid of it.
Got Mr. Cosgrove with the gloves on today.
Yeah, and as far as referees go, he's right up the top of the
He is, yeah.
top of them. Look, you barely even notice him. He's got the ball back on the spot and out of the way well before the player's ready to play the
Yep.
shot, and
Hands
that
don't
makes
move.
a huge difference.
Yeah.
When you're playing with this kind of rhythm. Oh, I'm not sure. You might just have to play the soft in off here and leave the pot,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Yeah, he's a fantastic young snooker player too. This Shrikrishna, he shouldn't have any issues with this pot here.
Wow. He was always going to miss that, Grant, after
Commentator's curse.
commentator's curse. However, a good commentator would have called the fluke.
Great shot.
So he run through, doesn't want that in.
No.
Oh, he's had
Wow.
another little result.
Peter's had a little cackle there.
Yep. And he hits this right. This will end up in nice position.
Has
Oh
that come
dear.
in?
No,
Nice.
he's missed that. That's a bad shot. Bad miss. He had a chance there to take advantage of a fluke.
Yeah, he didn't get through that ball there.
I'm just not quite sure. Just didn't seem to quite cue it. But great effort, great break, and 180. So Peter just really needs to take up a couple of minutes here, and the match will be done. Yeah, just sliding in there. As I say, the table's playing easy-ish with the new cloth on the cushions. That got a lot of the jaw and still fell in.
So we've 13 minutes left and just under a 200-point lead. You know, Peter, he doesn't really want to pot the opponent's ball here, but he might choose to pot that and double balk. It's not much of room behind that yellow there.
Would be great if the viewers that are watching, Grant, can
That's
take
a great shot.
2 or 3 seconds to show their appreciation by clicking share and really
Yeah.
promoting this stream and trying to get some viewership all around the world. Makes a huge difference, guys, if people watching can just share it, especially people that are connected with so many people in Q Sports around the world. So please show your support and what you can do for the game by sharing this great stream all throughout the week if you're watching.
Yeah, everyone has a social media account now and there's no excuses not to hit that share button. As Peter is working the balls away to top of the table again.
Yeah. I think now he's done enough. He's back 200 in front, 12 minutes. He'd have to probably miss in the next couple of shots, and Krishna would have to be up at top of the table, perfect for 12 minutes. And with Peter in position here, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But it's been an enjoyable game.
It has.
And pretty good standard.
Well, Matthew, I'm going to leave you in commentary. I've got a very important game to watch the conclusion of.
Yes, you're going to watch the end of Anna's game. What
Certainly
was
am.
the latest score update we had there?
Anna was still ahead, the last update, so with 10 minutes left, I'm going to go and see the conclusion of that one. Thanks very much once again.
Mate, if you could just stick your head in and stick it quickly back out, I'll give the viewers an update of the score,
Yep.
and then you can go and watch the rest. Great call, mate, and
Thanks very much.
good luck for your tournament, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Peter got the balls beautiful here, really, really close to the spot, so he'll be trying to keep it as close as he can for as long as he can. And he'd love to finish off with a couple of hundred odd break here to end the match. You see Peter there just leaving himself low on the red so he can pot the red again and cash an extra 3 points in before he plays the cannon. If you can get an extra pot on the red, you get an extra 3 points every couple of shots, and you're not moving the opponent's ball more than you have to. Just landed a bit straight on the red here. He might be able to force it round with some side. Yes, he can. See again, another pot on the red without having to play the cannon. Looks like he's got the angle to play it off the cushion, which is exactly what you want. Knock it back up towards the spot. Just caught that a bit thin on the red. And bring it off 2 cushions back towards the middle pocket. Leave himself either a pot or an in-off or a drop cannon like he has, so he's played that well. Not too bad. He's got a little screw cannon here from red to yellow. Control the red. Maybe bring it back across the table like that. That's landed absolutely perfect, I think. Yep. The pot, now he's got the correcting cannon to push the yellow back behind the spot, and he'll be back in perfect top of the table. Oh no, he's not quite perfect. He's going to pot the red and screw back. Now he's got the perfect angle to play that cannon. Starting to motor along now, last part of the match. Up the tempo a bit and put as many points on the board as he can. Plenty of time for a big break. 8 minutes left, probably score 150 if he stays in good position. And he'll go around across the balk line here. So 1, 2, 3 cushions. This side cushion 4 and the top cushion 5. That's the perfect shot that the players are trying to play when they cross the balk line. Played to the millimetre there. Skinny pot, but he's okay. No skinny pot. With the in off and then a pot from balk. Crosses the 100 mark, another century. So I'd say he'd be pretty happy with his performance, Pete. First game, and as I said earlier, he's been a bit crook. And it's a tough matchup as well. If you're off your game, then you probably find yourself getting beaten by someone like Shrikrishna. So he would have averaged quite well in this match, Peter. There hasn't been a hell of a lot of visits. So it's been a pretty good performance. and I got him. Any flukes? Not quite.
Gilchrist 108.
So a good 108 from Pete. Oh, here's a fluke.
2.
Just trying to find a schedule, Dan, to see what matches are on. Oh, he's double balked himself there, yeah. So we'll just roll the yellow out here. He won't risk trying to make a scoring shot. Nearly impossible to score from it. Oh, correct. I'll correct myself. He's going to have a crack here.
Shrikrishna. 6.
Tester queuing here for Pete. I think he's playing the run through and off. No, he's playing the pot. I just thought he was the amount of time he took to queue it up, he might have been going for the run through and off. No worries. So in the next session coming up, which is at 2 o'clock, yep, table 8, which will be the Cue Ball TV stream, will be the defending world champion Surav Kathari playing Australia's George Shamus. So great opportunity for viewers to watch the defending champ open his campaign. And the BSA New South Wales stream will be Chick Coco, who's a very, very capable player from Myanmar. I think Chick Coco beat Pankaj Advani recently in Myanmar in the Myanmar Open, which was a lead-up event to the IBSF 150 Up World Championship. He'll play a bit of a legend and one of everyone's favourite blokes from Australia, Dave Collins. Dave will probably be the first to admit he's a few years past what he used to be able to do, but he's still dangerous. He's got great knowledge of the game, and it would be awesome to see Dave show some of the form of that he used to be able to produce. He's still got it in him somewhere. I'm really, really close with Dave, and know his game inside out like he does mine. So I know somewhere inside him he's got something to produce, and be great if he could do it, in his home state at the World Championships here, and get off to a win against Chick Coco. But that's a really, really tough match for him, but will be well worth watching. So Surav Kathari and George Shamus, and Dave Collins and Chick Coco in the next session on the streaming. And 3 minutes to go here, 3.5 minutes. Pete will just be looking to play out time, add to his lead, help his points difference. And he's going to get his campaign away to a pretty satisfying start, I would imagine. Oh, he's just missed a tricky little pot there at top. So So we're going to try and grab Peter straight after the match. So stay tuned, don't switch off. Be really interesting for the viewers to get his thoughts and his opinion on the match, the conditions, the table, and a few comments about his opponent. So we will grab him straight after the match. I'm sure Peter will be more than obliging to do that, and I think it's great if we can hear from the top players straight after they've played matches and get some insight into the viewers and the people watching of their thoughts and how satisfied they are with their performance. I don't think Shrikrishna will be too disappointed either. I mean, he hasn't played poorly. He's just made a couple of errors here and there, but he's showed great character. I mean, it could have really blown out, and it certainly hasn't. He's going to lose by around the 250 mark. So he's showed some really good signs here. He showed that he can fight back. And that'll certainly give him some confidence moving forward in the tournament. He's by no means been blown out of the water. There was a stage there where it could have, but he answered back with some good breaks, and it's going to go down, as I say, by around the 250 mark. So stay tuned. Dan's going to run a couple of interviews that have been pre-recorded or something, just for a minute or two, which will be great to watch. And then we'll have Peter Gilchrist with us just for a quick chat to get his thoughts on the match.
Five.
Yeah, well, we last held the World Professional Championship here in 1934. So obviously it's been a long, long time. And it's just, it's fantastic to have it back here in Melbourne at such a brilliant venue with the very, very best players in the world here. Yeah, absolutely. I think we held the IBSF Championships here in '98, which was a great event as well at the old RACV club. But the professional, the WPBSA or WBL event, as you say, we haven't had here for 80 odd years or whatever it is. So, look, it's great, and we're really lucky that the real cream of the crop have come from all over the world to be here, and probably the strongest world championship field for a long, long time, if ever. The conditions are 12 out of 10. We've got the new straw and superfine cloth on the beds, which makes them really, really quick, really, really reactive. And obviously you can play every shot in the book. If you're a little bit out of position, your soft stun shots and your soft screw shots are all very, very playable on these conditions. And the 30-ounce cloth on the cushions is perfect as well. I think if the superfine was on the cushions, they may be a little bit they probably slide and skid a little bit too much. But yeah, similar to the pro snooker where they put the 30-ounce on the cushions and the number 10 on the bed. So probably similar playing conditions to that. So Alcock's obviously the number one table fitters in Australia for over 100 years. So George Taylor and Les and his crew there, wherever we go around Australia and play where they do the tables, they do a brilliant job. And as a player, you couldn't ask for nicer conditions. So 24 grand bonus for 1,000 break. Look, it's never been done before. So, however, it is possible on these conditions. There's, Peter Gilchrist made a couple in competition. Mike Russell, I think Advani's made one. No one's made one under the baulk line crossing rule. So, look, it's odds against. No doubt that it's more unlikely than likely, but wouldn't it be great for the game if someone did it? Okay, we got Pete joining us straight after his match. Congratulations, mate. Must be a pretty pleasing start for the tournament against a dangerous opponent.
He is, isn't he? You know, I thought that when you beat him in the last round, I thought he'd be dangerous for you.
Yeah.
And you played okay, and you only just won by about 100, didn't you?
Correct.
And I thought I played really well there.
You did, yeah.
And he's very dangerous.
Yeah.
I think I said to you before, he's one of these players you look at and you think he's never going to miss, and just looks so good and so fluent, doesn't he?
We were talking about that in the commentary, how good his cueing is, how good his body language is. He really strides around the table for a young player, and I don't think that's something you can teach someone at such a young age, but he's got a real presence, hasn't he?
He really has, nothing seems to faze him. And he just pulls shots out from everywhere. Anyway, I think he's the equivalent of like a David Corsia, and he's probably a better putter than David.
Scary.
Yeah.
So 19 years old, so great future.
Yeah.
And great for the game to have these young players coming through. We need that wherever they're coming from, India, England, Australia. We need
definitely.
these young. We were saying that Hurry is no doubt the most improved player in the world in the last few years, and this guy's going to be right on his hammer.
Well, this guy's the Indian champion, and he beat Devaj 5-0 in the final of the Indian Championship in the 150 ups.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how good he is.
How good he is, yeah. And on a personal level, you must be happy there. You started the match. You made a really good 100 break early, where you were never in position. And I was saying in the commentary, it was you'd scored about 180 points in a couple of visits, and you'd never been at top of the table.
That's
and I said it'll be like Christmas when you get there. You eventually got there. You made a great 270, 280 odd, and that put a big margin in the match. So you must be pretty pleased with your performance first up.
Yeah, that's my first game on that table ever, and so it was just a little bit, just finding out a little bit. The first, like you said, the first 100 points.
Yep.
Couldn't really get him going, and then towards the end, I felt as though I know a little bit what to do it. It's got a couple of little turns at the belt,
Yeah, we saw one across to the middle pocket.
Yeah. Which is unusual because it's, going down the table, it was just straight as a die. So it was just very, very unusual.
Right.
Maybe I just haven't cued it very nice because the table's so nice.
Yeah.
Maybe it was me, but who knows?
Yeah, no, well, mate, we've thoroughly enjoyed watching you play. We love having you out here to Australia, and the viewers obviously love seeing you in action, and it was a really impressive display first up. I'm sure you would have averaged really well there. There wasn't really many visits.
Yeah, it's got to be 50s, hasn't it?
Something
like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have thought there was probably only 10 or 12 visits for the match, which would be 50, 60 average. And if you average that, you're going to be hard to beat in every match. So
it's going to be a good. Well, there's a lot of players playing well, so I think there's 10 players who can win it.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. So. Thanks to all the viewers for watching. It's been a pleasure to commentate and have Peter with us afterwards. And
cheers, Matthew.
Look forward to the next matches at 2 o'clock, everyone.